I'm Shannon Miller with the Miller Elder Law Firm, and I'm coming to you today to discuss what to do with your stuff. Many of you are coming to me saying, I have an estate plan in place. I have now done what I'm supposed to do as far as getting my affairs in order. Now, what do I do with it? And the answer is let's first of all make sure that you have your stuff in order. But if you do, good for you. You're ahead of the game. 50% of people in the United States do not have any estate planning at all. So that's great. That's great news. Oftentimes people will say, well, I've left everything to my spouse. I've designated my spouse on assets. Is that okay? And the answer is no. Oftentimes we will see spouses perish together in car accidents usually. We've had a couple recently in small plane crashes. It is very important. And right now in particular, because we do know that it is often the case that if one spouse gets sick, the other spouse will often catch it. Because you're together a lot, which is a good thing, but it's not great for the virus. We are suggesting that you have contingent beneficiaries named on your IRAs, on your life insurance, on bank accounts, if that's possible. It is important that we designate as many beneficiaries on accounts as we can so that they can avoid that probate process. And if in cases of trust-based planning, we obviously want to designate the trust for as many things as possible, except IRAs, and we're going to talk about that in another session. So for purposes of today's discussion, I wanted to also talk about where you should keep that stuff. Copies are just as good as originals for many of our documents: durable powers of attorney, designations of healthcare surrogate, living wills. So it is important that you keep your durable power of attorney, which designates someone to make financial decisions for you, in a very safe place. Your designation of healthcare surrogate, I often recommend people keep a copy of those and your living will right in your car glove box. It's usually a good place to find it if you forgot to bring it with you to the hospital, or if you drove yourself to the hospital. You'll remember, I have one right there. I also recommend people email it to yourself so that if you get to the hospital and you didn't do anything with it, you can at least get on your email and forward it to whoever might need it. Okay, so what about your documents? And I do not recommend you keep documents in a safety deposit box. The reason for that is that if you become incapacitated or die, they will be unable to get access to it, and it requires a court order. So oftentimes, unless you've named that person and they know where to get the key, it's usually the case that the safety deposit box is not the best place to keep documents. I recommend using a fireproof safe, and also, potentially just a fireproof lockbox that someone would know where it is. Your trusted contact has been informed. This is where my stuff is. In your stuff, you keep something pretty organized, like a binder or an indexed document system that says, here's where all my financial information is. Here's what I would like to happen when I die. I want to be, I want this kind of service, or I want this kind of burial. And also, here's the people that I'd like to be contacted. And here are my trusted people: my CPA, my financial advisor, my attorney, all those good, important people that would need to know when you became incapacitated or you died. Let's talk for a moment about do not resuscitate orders. Oftentimes in these types of situations, people have not planned for a do not resuscitate order. If you get sick, that is something that you might want. And the reason for that is that resuscitation during the COVID-19 outbreak is very dangerous for your care providers, but also for you, because it is unlikely to result in success, unfortunately, in particular for our older seniors. and it can create a death event that's very painful, including, your ribs get cracked, they puncture your lung, and you can suffer tremendously before you pass away. So do not resuscitate orders. Consider them. Talk to your physician about it. It comes on a yellow piece of paper. It is a discussion that you and your doctor must have together, and that needs to be something that you do in advance. Okay, that's our summary for today. I hope all are well. You're staying safe. We are still doing estate planning. We've gotten a great number of new cases in, but we are able to conduct that for you in a safe manner. Let us know if we can help.